Here is another poem about St Ignatius Loyola. Now, I recall I wrote one earlier because his name rhymes with a certain type of hat. And I do seem to write a lot about these religious folks, even though I have little time or respect for religious beliefs, because they just relate to stuff people have made up, imaginary stuff with no basis in reality. And often the belief is regrettable because people who believe this stuff end up in positions of influence and authority, so their beliefs have an undesirable effect on society. And sometimes the beliefs are really dangerous, of course, because some people, if you don't go along with their imaginary ideas and beliefs, they will try to kill you. However, great deal of our culture and tradition relates to religion and religious beliefs, so you can't really avoid knowing something about it. Ignatius of Loyola, he was born into the Spanish nobility in 1491, and in his younger days he was pretty normal. He joined the army at 17 and spent his time strutting about, roistering, womanizing, dueling, and working usefully for the Duke of Nájera. There were always wars going on, so there was plenty of work. And a particular long-running fight, war, whatever, was between France and the Habsburg Empire. And in 1521, when Ignatius was 29, he was severely injured during the siege of Pamplona, when a French expeditionary force stormed the fortress, and Ignatius's right leg was shattered by a cannonball, and that was the end of his military career, really. I mean, it was nearly the end of his existence, but he did survive. But they took him back to his father's place at Loyola, and he underwent a series of operations on his leg, with the bones being broken and reset, all without anaesthetic, of course. Fearful stuff. Excuse me. And while he was recuperating from this, he wanted to read about stuff about chivalry, romance and adventure, sort of thing he liked. But they didn't have any books like that in his father's place. They just had books on religion, so he had to read that. And in particular, there was one that really hooked him, which was the work The Life of Christ by Ludolf of Saxony, a work of 1374. And through reading that work of imagination, work of fiction, whatever you like to call it, whatever, it transformed Ignatius into a religious person for the rest of his life, which was another 35 years or so. And he went on to found the Jesuits and all that stuff. It's weird. Well. Anyway, back to the poem, which goes like this. Of course, it's imaginary, but we are well into the realms of the imagination with today's subject. Anyway, the poem goes like this. I have heard St Ignatius of Loyola was not really a great rock and roller. He was usually liable to stick to the Bible and disregard Leiber and Stoller, or Stoller. It depends how you pronounce it, because roller and Stoller, they look like they ought to rhyme, but roller has it's pronounced with the long O, and Stoller usually with the short O, although I have heard it pronounced Stoller anyway. But there you go, it's what's known as an I rhyme or a sight rhyme. And as for usually liable to stick with the Bible, those look like they hadn't ought to rhyme at all. But Ira Gershwin, he got away with it. So I'm in good company. And oh yes, the song "It Ain't Necessarily So" from Porgy and Bess was apparently highly controversial when it first appeared, because it said that some things you were liable to read in the Bible were not necessarily true, and many people didn't like that. And I mean, well, the Bible, this is the thing, it's got people coming back from the dead, it's got animals talking, it's got angels appearing, it's got a great flood that drowned pretty well all the life on earth, except for the fish, we assume. And it's got loads of other evidently false stuff, and often it will say in a certain place that something is true, and it will say somewhere else that the same thing is false. So I don't know. You couldn't make it up, except that they did. So there we are. I'm not a great one for religion, but anyway, that's the end. So bye bye.